Hey, welcome back to the JMFG podcast. Hey, as I always say at the beginning, I want to thank everybody for listening, viewers, subscribers. Hey, we're just trying to make families greater, one family at a time, one story at a time. And, it's a couple days after September 11th. I got a good friend of mine, my next guest. But I want to say, hey, I hope everybody had a great September 11th. I hope everybody, did some great things, some cookouts, had some family gatherings, ate some good food. And for our fallen, I hope those families were, they share some stories about their fallen loved ones and talked about, the impact they had on their lives and, the impact they had on our country for making that ultimate sacrifice. So, hey, again, hope everybody had a great September 11th. My September 11th is pretty good. I had my buddies on. We talked about it, how it changed our lives and, just where we're moving forward as a nation and where we're going. But having said that, welcome to this next episode. I got a real good friend of mine. I got Jay coming on. He's a former third group guy, but also he is the author. I'll let him explain. He is a producer, co-producer, the owner of the Beret Chronicles, which I had to take part in on his podcast. So with no further ado, Jay, I'll go and let you introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I appreciate you having me on. Again, Jay Dorleus, 20 years, military, 15 of it in 3rd Special Forces Group. Retired 3 months ago. And then since I retired, I think we all have that void that needs to be filled, right?
Yes, sir.
As I was staring at retirement, I didn't really know how to fill that void. So I started doing some research and trying to figure out exactly what I enjoy doing, and as SF guys, coach, teach, mentor has always been something that I enjoy doing, especially when I get a new guy. It's like I'm a kid at like a kid in a candy shop. I get so excited because it's like, I get this brand new canvas that I get to paint all over, right? So as I, venture out of the military, I found that, hey, I can still coach, teach, and mentor newer guys coming into the regiment. Right. So with all that in mind, I, jumped on social media because, again, there was a need for it. Because when we came through, there was no social media. We didn't know what selection was. We didn't know any of that. Yep. And then 20 plus years of experience, I just wanted to find a way to pour that into the next generation. So
I like it.
With that in mind, opened up the Beret Chronicles, started off doing just kind of headshots of 5 to 7 minutes, helpful tips for guys trying to get to the regiment. Yep. And then I recently started doing a podcast version of it, which I had you on not too long ago. And that's where it's at, man. Retired, not working for anybody but myself. And I've just been doing that, and it's filled that void that was missing once I retired.
I'm with you, brother. So now, Jay, I got to back up. Pronounce your last name again.
Dorleus.
So what is that, Dorleus?
It's French.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was born in Haiti, moved stateside once I turned 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so people mess it up all the time, and I'm like, door? Like an actual door?
That's why I just say JD, dude. Yeah. I don't know. People be like, Johnny, Jay, I'm like, you trying to JD? And it does say your last name because I'm South Georgia, but I will butcher that, what I mean? So I was just curious.
Good. Yeah, so Jay Dorleus, like door, Lee, us, yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's French. It's a Haitian name.
Okay.
I always have to correct folks when they say it, so it's all good.
So now, grew up in Haiti. I know you were 10 when you moved to the States, but do you remember a lot of that as a kid?
So I remember bits and pieces of it, not a lot. Again, because like I said, I was still young, and then my folks were stateside, so my grandmother raised us. Okay. And then once I moved stateside, I linked up with my folks who, they went to Paris first, and then they came to the States.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember some of it, nothing too crazy.
So now, did you have a language before you went to Special Forces?
Yeah. So I speak Haitian Creole and French.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which, if you think about it, Haitian Creole is just a bootleg version of French.
Right. Yeah.
So I had French when I went into the Q course. So about 6 months in, once I was done with MOS, I had the chance to test out, which would have saved me 6 months out of the Q course.
Of school time.
Yeah, but I elected to stay because some of my buddies needed help, so I just stayed and went through language anyway, just so I could help the other dudes.
Plus, that gives you that family time too, man.
Exactly.
And so, having said that, Jay being a 3rd Special Forces guy or 3rd Special Forces Group guy for 15 years, as a team sergeant. Yeah. You got to tell me how that was, man, as a team sergeant,
Yeah, so of course, it started off with me just being a regular new guy. 2010 was when I got the group. I went to 1st Battalion, Charlie Company, 3X. Did 2 years, about 2.5 years there. And then I went to Bravo Company, 3123. Did about 5 years there. Then I went to SWIC. And then I got picked up for E8, and then I went to group. And I was a team sergeant on the 3112.
Hey, that's my old team. Everybody don't know. Hey, there it is right there. I got it.
Yeah.
3112, all in, baby, all in.
Yeah.
So Jay came right after I did. That's pretty cool, man. That's
Yeah,
good
so
stuff.
I was the team song for that team, man. And I always tell dudes, because we both know, like, we come into the regiment, especially as enlisted dudes, to get to the point where you're doing the team song job. Like,
Correct.
That is the ultimate goal, right? And to have a chance to do it at that level was awesome. And I loved it, man, because I had a very young team, so I had a chance to, again, coach, teach, mentor, and just kind of, raise those dudes to be what I, at the moment, thought an SF guy should be.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome, man. I had a chance to deploy with them to Jordan for about 6 months, and I had a ball. I always tell dudes that was my hardest mission, right? Because when you think of it, you're just like, oh, SF guys go down range and they lose guys. Like, that's what most would think is a hard mission.
Right.
But for me, that's easy, right? Because we go out the wire, we do work, we come back, and you know where your dudes are at all times.
And you just keep going.
Yeah. But when we're in Jordan and it's permissive and guys
and they go where they want.
Oh, yeah. Bro, it's like
I've been there.
It was horrible, but I had such a good team and we did such a good job between myself, the captain, and the warrant, and raising those dudes and instilling all those disciplinary things in them to where I can have guys, go wherever and know that, hey, they're going to represent the team to the fullest.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
so
it was
now,
a ball.
Got a question for you since we're still close to September 11th.
Sure.
Were you in SF prior to September 11th?
No, so I came in 2003. However, when September 11, 2011 happened, or 2001 happened, I was in high school.
Okay.
And I went to high school downtown Brooklyn, which is literally right across the bridge from Lower Manhattan.
Right.
So when the attack happened, I was in shop class, and the way it's set up is my back was to the window, and the window was, to Lower Manhattan. So when it happened, like I heard the entire thing. Like I heard the boom, I heard all of that. And we didn't know what it was because Lower Manhattan, downtown Brooklyn, there's always construction going on.
Right. You always hear noises.
So we just kept going, business as usual, teachers out there teaching. And then we had a student run in. He was like, hey, did you guys heard what just happened? We're like, no, like, what's going on? And he was like, hey, the World Trade Center just got attacked. And then we all stopped and we just kind of looked at each other, and it was computer class. So we started Googling stuff, and that's when we saw it. And then I remember that day vividly because I had to walk all the way home from downtown Brooklyn. It was like an all-day event because I lived all the way in Canarsie, which, again, I normally use the train and the bus just to get home.
Right.
But that day, everything went dark. So I had to walk home, and it took me about 18 hours, just to walk all the way home. But everyone else was walking. And since my school was right there, I got to see the crowd that was walking across the bridge from Lower Manhattan, and it was just everybody's dusty. Like, it was just, I guess, surreal to actually see that develop.
So now, did you want to join after that, or did you like, hey man, I was joining anyways? But did that like kind of push you or motivate you to?
So initially, my intent was to be a New York City cop.
Right.
Because I knew that I wanted to be in some type of public service. Like, I wanted to serve, mainly because, again, coming from Haiti, coming to the States, and just seeing what the country had done for me and my family. Like, I wanted to give back.
Right.
So I wanted to be a New York City cop. That was the plan. So once I got done with high school, spoke to the recruiter. The prerequisites were, hey, you either had 2 years in college or you had military service. So I tried college for 1 semester. I went to City College up in Harlem, New York, and I was just not a student. Right? It didn't work out at all.
Most of us not. Most Green Berets aren't college students. So
Yeah. It was horrible. So after that, I was smart enough to realize, hey, college isn't for me. I don't want to waste any more time. If I can't get the college degree, let me go get the military experience.
Right.
So I joined in 2003, and after my first enlistment, I was like, so you're telling me you pay me to work out, you pay me to shoot guns, and you're going to give me room and board.
Yeah.
So I loved it, man. I just stayed the entire time.
Okay.
Instead of being a New York City police, I figured I'll be a world police instead.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now, were you prior infantry or?
No, so I went in as a 12 Bravo combat engineer, which is the civilian version. The Big Army's version of an 18 Charlie.
So when you came SF, were you 18 Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up, man.
Easy transition.
Yeah, that's very easy right there because you went from one job doing the same job. So take me back to September 11th. I don't want to get stuck on it, but
yeah,
it's just fresh right now because what's the date? 13th or whatever, 14th. Mm-hmm. So that day, like you said, it was so real. When you saw people walking, what went through your mind as a kid? Like, oh my God, we're under attack. But what actually went through your mind?
Well, because at that point I was, how old was I? Math is horrible. So 2017. Yeah, so I was 17.
You were young, but still like a young.
Yeah, I was young, and I didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, I knew we got attacked, but I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
You know, I was more upset that I had to walk home. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But after seeing that, it was like, holy crap, I need to get home as soon as I can so my parents could stop worrying about me. Right. Because I didn't have no cell phone. Like, we didn't have cell phone back then. Right. So it was, hey, let me get home as soon as I can so my mom and dad know that I'm all right. Mm-hmm. That's all that was going through my mind. Now, fast forward a couple of years later, you know, reliving that specific moment, it was just anger and hate. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, how dare they do this to the West, right? Mm-hmm. How dare they do this to New York City at that?
Right, exactly.
So at the moment, I was just trying to get home, but later on, thinking about it, it was just fear and, well, not fear, but hate and anger.
Yeah, mostly. I got you. Yeah. There was some fear too, man. Like I remember I was telling the guys after it happened about how what scared me more than anything, or worried me more than anything, is that our kid's been in a school, mm-hmm. and you got some coward just walking and blowing himself up. Yeah. I was more worried about that happening because the way I looked at it was, if you can fly a plane into the World Trade Center, mm-hmm. it's so much easier to just get a human body to come in. You know, you hold her kids as ransom and be like, all right, you're going to go do this, this, and this. Yeah. So I was more worried about that than I was, just fear for, our kids in America and them going to school. So I was more worried about that after the World Trade Center got blown up more than anything. Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. So till this day, I mean, we still have, crazy random acts of, violence happening here and there. It's going to continue, man, just because people are, I hate to say it, people are going to be people and people are going to do what people do, whether it's, is that you?
Yeah, sorry about
you
that.
Good?
You might have to edit it out a little bit.
No worries.
Because my phone is so loud, like, it'll keep doing that. Sorry, Lauren.
That's why you can go. That's why I put mine on airplane mode.
Yeah,
You good?
Yeah, no.
I always do, man. Put that there. Because once that thing do that, it's like...
It's... Okay, so you just put it on airplane mode?
Yeah, because in this thing right here, could you hear it in there?
Yeah.
But when you put it in there, it's like, I was like, whoa, what the hell is that? But it's all good.
How do I do not disturb? Shit.
Oh, you just turn your... I don't know, bro. I don't know what you got going on. I got an iPhone. Hey, you can set it up, man.
I'm just going to turn it down.
You good.
Turn it up. Well, it's only going to keep ringing.
Is it them?
Yeah, those people.
Oh, dude, look here. I got one the other day. Lady called me from a 919 number, Sanford. So I answered it. She asked me about health insurance. I hung up the phone and go, how the hell y'all can use, because usually they 1-800 or 188.
I got it on airplane mode.
You good?
All right, sorry about that.
Oh, you good, brother. Lauren hooked that right on up.
All right, cool.
All right, so now, Jay, we're going to go back to, like, SF, when you joined SF. Like, how hard was it for you, because you're in great shape. Yeah. I can look and tell you're still in good shape. How hard were you when you joined SF? How hard was it for you to make it through selection?
So the hardest part for me was land nav, right? Because the physical aspect of it, like you mentioned, like I was, in pretty good shape. I was 25 when I went to selection. And leading up to that point, like I've always been in the gym. It's always lifting, or I was running or rucking. So the physical aspect of it wasn't a problem at all. What got me was land nav, because growing up in New York City, never really, conducted land navigation, as opposed to somebody like you that grew up in the woods. Like, it was easy for you. Yep. But for me, I had to teach myself how to, conduct that skill. And land nav is one of those things. And I tell my guys now that are trying to go, hey, don't wait till you get the selection to learn how to land nav. Because, like, prior to going, I had some training back in my first duty station, but it's still, I wasn't seasoned enough. Right. So that was the hardest thing for me. And being in shape was what helped me, because I would make a mistake on the land navigation course. Now, I would catch myself and I would make up for that mistake with speed. So I would haul butt back to my last known location and then re-engage and figure it out. By the time I got to the store course, I had made enough mistakes to where I knew what I was doing.
Right.
So that was the hardest part for me, was Len Nav, which is the second week. And then team week is what it is.
Just physical.
Yeah. And I learned about myself doing team week because I found out that when I'm hungry, like, I'm not the best team player.
Oh, yeah, that's everybody, man.
So I found myself like blowing up a couple of dudes here and there. I had to go back and re-engage and apologize and make things right.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about myself doing team week. But if I had to choose one segment that was really hard for me, it would be Len Nav.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny, Jay just said, you know, he grew up in New York City, and he said, you grew up in the woods. So and Jay's absolutely right. I grew up in a small town in Georgia, bro. So being in the woods for me is like, you know, I was just deer hunting the other day.
Yeah.
But being in the woods for me was like second nature.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell people. Most of you guys that come to SF is just going to be country redneck guys, you know, like they grew up in the woods, they like being in the woods. But when I talk to guys that are from the city, you know, it's just different because it's a different child, different. And it's crazy because I tell people all the time, I try not to make anything about race, but I look at you, me and you, we're the same complexion. You're black, I'm black.
Yeah.
But Jay will tell you right now, he didn't grow up in the woods. Yeah. I go to New York City. Dude, I remember the first time I went to the city, it was hard for me to figure out the bus systems.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is weird. So a lot of times, bro, instead of doing the bus system, I need to walk or run somewhere just because I couldn't figure them out. I'm like, man, this is weird.
Yeah.
But that's just like you guys going to the country. You're like, what? I got to do what now?
You want me to do what?
What's a draw? What's this? What's a depression?
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from with that because my buddy Gene, he was from Chicago. He's a third grade guy, Gene Harris.
Yeah.
And Gene's from Chicago, and it's funny because Gene's like, dude, when I first went to selection, you know, getting in the woods, like, hold up, player, you know. And it's just a different aspect, but it's amazing how we all come from different walks of life, but we end up in the same place or the same trail, same path, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So after selection, you came to third group. When you first got to third group, what was your impression?
So whenever I got to a third group, this is 2010, third group was forward deployed. Right. So you had 1st Battalion down in Kandahar.
Yep.
And then you had, we had the Siege of Sodef at that time. Mm-hmm. So when I showed up, Rare D, I signed in, there was nobody around. Right. So I was like, hey, like, I don't know what's going on, but I need to go wherever everyone else is. Right. So signed in the headquarters, and then they immediately shipped me down to a bath to the B-Dock, and I hung out there for about 3 or 4 months. And then I went down to CAF, and then we went down to Maywan, because at that point we were doing VSO.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I linked up with my first team down in Maywan around October of 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So when I first got there, again, I miss all the new guys stuff because we were downrange. Right. They didn't have that much time to, you know, make sure that I was the right fit. Right. Now I still got some of it from some of the seniors, but it wasn't as crazy, mainly because we were, you know, try to build a VSO site and then train an ALP and then go operational. Right. But in all, man, it was pretty decent experience.
That's good, man. That's good. Because I know a lot of guys come in, they're like, oh, I had the worst experience and this, that, and the other. Yeah. Was it as professional as you thought it would be?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Just being down there around the dudes and just seeing, like, just... Because, again, I spent 5 years in the Big Army, right? Just the level of complexity as far as what the captain was dealing with, what the team zone had to do, what the warrant had to do, the 18 Fox. Dude, it was light years ahead of what I was used to. And I was like, well, I know I'm a new guy, but just how do I do my part, right? And it came in the form of being an 18 Charlie and building the actual VSO site. Right. So, yeah, and then once we went operational, it was just the level of planning that was taking place. Right. As a new guy, you're like, tell me what I need to do, right? And I'll do it.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what I did, man. I went out, patrol, firefights, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's so much to take in. Yeah. Just because you're not used to, you know, operating in that light. And again, I didn't have time to do a PMT or do any of that stuff. It was, hey, like, you're in the fight now. Like, go figure it out, right? So
just drinking from a water hose.
Exactly. Yeah. And it all worked out, man. Yep. Yeah, it definitely all worked out.
Now, for everybody that's not military that's watching, Jay just said VSO. That's Village Stability Operations, which basically is just you coming in, setting some stuff up so these guys can operate on their own, just for you guys' situation awareness that's watching. Yeah. So what I'll ask Jay now, I'm going to transition to retirement part. Yeah. Because like you just said, people that don't realize, it's just like when I retired, you got to find that void, but not only that, it's your identity that you're looking for, you know? Yeah. And so when you finally retired, how did you, I know you're doing your podcast now, but when you first retired and realized, man, I'm retired now, what did that feel like? Because you were 3 months?
Yeah.
So you're still new. So how did that feel, bro?
Yeah, because I always joke around like, hey, like we've been in prison for the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah, now you're free.
Yeah, exactly. And most prison or most prisoners, when they, find themselves on the outside world, they don't know anything else, they just go commit a crime and go right back.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I always joke around like, as military folks, some of us never leave prison, right? Because you'll take off one uniform, the ACUs or whatever it is that we're wearing now, and then you'll trade that uniform for a GS hat, right?
Yeah.
Now you're
still in the government.
Yeah. Now you're in the GS system, still within your comfort zone. Like you're still telling war stories to you. And again, if that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I just know that I didn't want to stay in jail for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So once I got out, like I mentioned earlier, there was that void of, man, like my identity was, a third group or the military for the past 20 years. Now that I'm a civilian now, like what is my identity? Like, what am I going to do? And I can tell you right now, like, based on where you're at, people will tell you thank you for your service.
Yep.
And then they keep it moving because everybody has their own stuff going on.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They don't have time to sit there and listen to your war stories of how hard it was. They got mouths to feed.
Yeah.
They got bills to pay just like you do. Right?
Yeah, facts.
So once you're out, it's like, hey, thank you for your service. Keep it moving.
Yep.
I got stuff to do. Like, and you can't really dwell on that and say, well, when I was in the military, I was important. I was somebody.
See, it's funny you say that because I just brought that up the other day. And I'm going to touch on this for all the veterans that are watching, law enforcement, first responders, because I think we all got a lot of like traits just because we're in a servant role.
Yeah.
But I was just telling somebody the other day, like, I'd really like to set up something. I'm working on it right now, just for guys transitioning. Because once you lose that identity, man, it sucks. You know? I lost mine, and it was like, all right, because JMFG is not who I am. You know what I mean? It doesn't define who I am. It doesn't make who I am. It's just that's what people knew you by.
Yeah.
So did that cause any problems with your family when you first retired?
Yeah, because initially, I didn't want to retire. Right. It was one of those things like, hey, I was a first son over at SWIC. I'm like, man, like, I'm not really fighting anymore. I'm not doing anything cool anymore. Just paperwork all the time. Like, this is getting old. And then I spoke to a couple of mentors. I was like, hey, I'm 38 at the time. Like, what if I go OCS? Like, I still got a little bit of fighting. Like, what if I go be an officer and just keep serving? I did a little bit more research. I'm like, hey, I can go warrant. A lot of guys go warrant as an E8. And then I had to sit back and really, think about it and take it in and realize how selfish I was being.
Right.
Because it was like, dude, you just spent 20 years at the highest level. And
being gone.
You got a wife, you got some kids. Like, they're young, and now you want to keep going when you have a chance to, leave. Like, that's selfish because you got yours. Now let's do right by them by getting out and being there for them.
Right.
And once I, once I understood that and I internalized it, I was like, okay, it's time for me to punch out. So I put my stuff together and then I punched out, man. But it took me a while to realize that. But once I came to grip with it, it was like, okay, now that this chapter of your life is gone, what's next? Like, you can't really tell war stories all the time, unless I'm, with a buddy.
With the buddy, yeah.
Civilians don't understand that, right? They're gonna look at you
and they look just like, this guy. We need to put him on the 6th floor somewhere because there's something wrong with him.
Yeah. So it's not. Well, you can't really do that all the time unless you're around buddies. So what's your identity gonna be next?
Right.
And it's like, well, I still appreciate the regiment. I still love the regiment. Let me find a way to give back. So new identity now is, hey, helping guys get to the regiment by sharing my 20 plus years of experience and sharing veteran stories like you or whoever else wants to come to the show. Because, dude, all that knowledge, like, what exactly are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to take any shots at anybody, but sitting in an office with like-minded folks and just telling war stories all the time, like, those guys have similar war stories. They're not the one that needs to hear it. Right?
You need to get it out there to the other. Yeah, I agree.
It's the younger generation, right?
Totally agree.
They need to learn the lessons of, hey, there's IEDs right here. Like, this is how we cleared back then, because it's bound to repeat itself.
Oh,
right?
it is.
They need to learn those TTPs and all those SOPs, right?
It's coming. It's coming.
It always does.
Yep.
It always does. And when it does happen, folks like you and I, we're gonna be like, man, we learned that lesson the hard way back in 2008.
Let's teach them now so that they don't have to.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing, man, and it's giving me that identity, and it's filled that void that I've had. Good, really. You know, it's only been 3 months, but the sooner I can get it ahead of it, then the better off I'll be.
Yeah, that's true, man. And plus, man, your podcast, you know, Beret Chronicles. Hey, check it out. Great podcast. I was a guest on there, and Jay here pulled up my Ranger School story. I mean, you know how Jay said he would have tuned me up. He's just going to Ranger School like, hey, you don't do what you want to do. But yeah, but I will say this, man. You know, watching your podcast, man, and being on your podcast, I think what you're doing is amazing, bro. You know, I would definitely say, you know, keep that up, because one thing I would like to see, and this is just me, and like I say, I don't make nothing about race, but when I first got to third group back in '99, I was the only brother on my team for at least 4 or 5 years, man, 6 years. And I was like, where all the brothers at? You know what I mean? I'm like, good Lord, like, man, this is a great job, you know, in sports with a gun, but, you know, there wasn't no brothers in there. So I think what you're doing with your Beret Chronicles, man, showing guys how to get to that next step, you know, is phenomenal, man.
Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, if you're sensitive, don't go over there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I try to keep it, because at the end of the day, I think what's lacking from our society now is that blunt, raw feedback.
You got to get it, man.
Like we always tell the kids, hey, you're good just the way you are. But it's like, dude, you're 18. Like you don't even know who you are.
You don't even know who you are.
So you're not good the way you are, right? Mm-hmm. So I try to keep it raw and try to keep it, you know, like I try to give honest feedback.
You got to.
Because I know in the space that we operate downrange, like raw and honest feedback is what gets us through the day. It's what gets us through off the X with everybody's body parts still intact and alive. Right?
But nowadays it's more about, you know, we got to be politically correct and we got to do that. Man, let me tell you something. When you in that team room, the things that are said in that team room, the things that we do to each other, I can tell you right now, most of us would be kicked out of the military. They'd be like, oh my God, that's an EO complaint. You know, I'm like, you know, and so it just kills me that what our country was built on is slowly, I feel like it's like it's getting swept under the rug. Like, oh my God, you can't say that. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
You mean, just like we would go, I won't ever forget, we would go to the pool, we'd go swimming or whatever, be like, hey Johnny, we brought you, and they would bring me, like my team would bring me floaties. And they'd be like, hey, we know brothers can't swim. But if they said that now, people would lose their mind.
Yeah. But it's funny because, like, they'll joke around with you like that, right? Because you guys are a team. Stand back and watch somebody else say that to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. They'll be ready to hurt somebody.
Exactly.
They'll be like, hey, what'd you say to him? You know,
exactly. But that's what it's all about.
But that's the brotherhood that I try to tell people that when you go, don't get me wrong, Big Army's great. And I think the Army's good about bringing people together.
Yeah.
But when you go to these special operations units, whether it's the Navy SEALs, whether it's Green Berets, whether it's MARSOC, whether it's JTACs, it doesn't matter. You become so close to guys. You know, dude, I knew where most of my guys lost their virginity. I knew how guys, you know, think before they even said something. Like, I'd ask them something, I'd be like, hey, before you answer this the way I know you're going to answer it, think about it. Then they would just look at me like, because now they're like, all right, well, you know what I'm going to say. Why am I even going to answer? But you get to know these people so well. And Greg said it the other day on the September 11th edition. He even said it. He was like, he wished people could come to our brotherhood events when we get together and see how we treat each other. And then you'll kind of, I'm not going to say the way we do it is right, but you'll know this is what love and respect for each other is. You know what I mean? This is duty, honor, and selfless service that we do. But it's amazing how, you know, our society nowadays, we just, I don't know, man, it's like we want to make everything so easy for everybody. Not, like you say, give me raw truth, bro. If I'm jacked up, tell me I'm jacked up.
But then I would go a little bit further and say, who better to show them than us?
Oh, yeah. Right? Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like that, again, I love the regiment, but the quiet professional mantra, like, I get it to an extent, but for folks like you and our brothers that are out, it's like we know what, you know, a good team looks like. We know how we treat each other, black, white. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So why not show the world a different perspective? Why not show them a different view, right? Because we know how to do it at the ultimate level. Like we're just leaving everyone else to make their assumptions, and then we're sitting back and watching it happen. And then we're complaining within the confines of our home how messed up the country is, how divided it is. Well, you know how close-knit we can be. Then if you're not doing anything about it, you're just part of the problem.
That's it. That's it.
So it's like,
so be part of the solution.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Exactly.
That's why with the podcast, I started mine just like you're doing yours. It's amazing how we're still trying to get back to, you know, society, still trying to get back to the country because, like you say, we train, we mentor, and we influence.
Exactly.
So for me, it's like, hey, I put my guns down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still shoot, but
Yeah.
I'm not fighting anymore, but I'm still helping through just sharing stories, like sharing your story.
Exactly.
As a guy, kid growing up in Haiti, moving to New York, and then like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna join the military.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be a servant, and then going SF. But not only that, the ultimate goal, becoming a team sergeant.
Yeah.
Not only that, a black team sergeant. I'm not making it about race, so don't take it that way. Anybody that knows me, not like I give 2 cents, because anybody knows me knows I'm not.
Yeah.
But a young black team sergeant in third group, dude, I'm not saying it's rare, but that's rare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, I know when I first came in, you seeing that.
Yeah.
But you're still giving back. Now you've retired, you put your guns down, like you said, we're not fighting anymore. But you're still giving back through the Green Beret Chronicles. You're still showing guys how to excel, how to become a Green Beret, and all that good stuff. So
yeah. Because I truly believe like every story, like there's something to be learned, right? Because
everyone.
Like I told you when you came to mine, somewhere out there, there's a young Johnny Glenn, right?
Dude,
somewhere out
I
there.
hope not. If there's a young Johnny Glenn that they need to, hey, look here, lock him up right now, throw away the key, because the world does not need to. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, bro. Hey, look here. Dude,
but there's somebody that could learn through your story, through your path, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And then when I aired your episode and you read the comments, it's like, oh man, this is great. I enjoy learning from this guy. So just think about if every SF guy got in front of a mic and share his story.
Oh, dude, I'm trying to, all my SF guys reach out to me. As a matter of fact, I need to get in touch with Nick Lavery.
Yeah.
I want to get him on the show, but I want guys to come on the show because we've all went through adversity, But one thing I don't want is, I didn't want when I first started my show, and I talked to you about this because you had yours, I didn't want my show to be strictly military.
No.
I wanted it to be, because the way I look at it, we're all human.
Yeah.
So I got great cop friends. I got great firefighter friends. I got great nurse friends, doctor friends. So I wanted my show to be a collaboration of everybody coming in and sharing all their stories, because what we went through, a lot of people look at us and say, oh yeah, them guys definitely got PTSD.
Yeah.
And we do to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I also look at a hospice nurse and I go,
firefighters.
I look at firefighters. They got more PTSD trauma than we would probably ever have.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I make this show better? So now it's helping through sharing, whether it's, a hospice nurse or a firefighter or a police officer or a teacher that, see her kids come in. I got a teacher I'm bringing on, and she was talking to one of her students one day, and the student said his best subject or his reason for coming to school was lunch.
Yeah.
And she said, Johnny, it didn't dawn on me until I talked to him about lunch. Come to find out, man, the kid his family, they didn't have food. They didn't have lunch. Yeah. So she was traumatized by that, man. This is her student. How do I take care of him? So now she started packing this kid lunch. But that's something that's probably going to affect that lady for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Or it's going to affect her in more ways than we could think of.
Yeah.
But also, it's going to make her heart bigger where, how do I help the next child? How do I bring the next child closer, So...
And then she messed around and share that story.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And now somebody else, when they hear
another teacher hears it,
it's going to click.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, this is what this means.
Yep.
Right? As opposed to waiting till they speak to somebody like you to put, one and one together.
Yeah.
So that's all it's about, man. Like I said, I've been reaching out to as many folks as I can just to get them to come tell their stories.
Oh,
because I've seen the impact that it's had, especially with the youth nowadays. This is exactly what they need. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a big gap between what right looks like or what they should be doing for God and country, and it's not being done. And there's a lot of different influences out there, and without our influence, that shows them like, hey, you need to protect this way of life, because we've seen the other side.
Oh yeah, look here.
Yeah. And
for people that hadn't been in these third world countries, we've been there, and you were born and raised in Haiti. I've been there.
Which is why I'm like, you need to do everything that you can to make sure this country stays the way it is.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, man, we got the best country in the world. I don't brag on it. Yes, I do. I do brag on it.
Hands down.
Hands down, bro. It's the best country in the world because there's opportunities out there. Not only just white, blacks, Hispanics, whoever. There's opportunities out there for you to do whatever you want to do. Just like I tell people all the time, I'm not rich, I'm broke, I got bad credit. But what I tell people is I got time.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of it, but I got time. So if I can go help somebody, then why not go help them? And if that's just me sharing a story, then share a story with somebody, So at the end of the day, man, that's what I think we should be doing.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And for all my Green Beret brethren out there, just like with Jay sitting here, I'm going to challenge you guys, just like Jay said, put a Green Beret behind a mic and let him share a story. Because we got stories that dude, I can tell stories right now. People look at me like, no, that didn't happen. No, dude, this is stuff that movies are made of. I'm telling you right now, you know. I've seen my buddy Troy Lettieri do stuff, and you look at it and you're like, man, that was wow. That was crazy. Like, how did that guy survive that? I've seen my little brother Dave Glenn get blown up. How did he survive that? You know? And these stories go on and on and on and on. And it's like, you know, and like you said earlier, we're the quiet professionals, but that also, it kicks us in the butt a lot too, because guys look at Green Berets and they're like, first thing they think of, for me anyways, Rambo. Yeah. That's the first thing I think of, because I always wanted to be John Jay. Well, I'm John Jay, but I wanted to be John Jay Rambo. But then I look at my SEAL brother, and nothing against the SEALs, but you look at, dude, you walk in a bookstore, you walk in, you know, like,
SEAL everything.
Over, it's SEAL everything. And I'm like, good Lord, man. You know, just like I had somebody the other day compare me to David Goggins. I said, hey, do not compare me to David Goggins. I don't know him, but don't compare me to him. Yeah. You know, and if David Goggins, if you watch this, I do want to meet the guy. Actually, I want to train with the guy. I love for me and him to go out and do, and I've said this before, do like a fundraiser or something. Yeah. Green Beret, Navy SEAL, let's go do something like a competition or something. But whatever. But anyways, so yeah, dude, I like to get those guys on the show to share their stories. Yeah. And anybody come on my show, you know I'm sending them your way. Yeah. So anybody watching, nurses, law enforcement, you know, just regular people that have stories. Like, you know, my son's friend, B. Cotton here. It was a kid that passed away here in Sanford. And, you know, I've been trying to get in touch with his mom and just talk to her. Because a lot of people don't want to share their stories, and I understand that. But if they do, then think about the people that you could be helping that might lose a child or lose a loved one. How did you cope? How did you, you know, put all that hurt and anger aside and channel it to something positive? Or how are you making it day to day, you know, step by step, foot by foot? Yeah. So,
because again, someone else is going through the same thing.
Same thing, man. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. I actually reached out to, he said, what's up too. Mike.
Mike Clark?
No. He works at the CARES Coalition right there, Fairfax.
Oh, Mike. Oh, Mikey. Yeah. I need to call Mike. Yeah. What's up, Mikey? I need to call Mike.
Yeah, Mikey Fairfax. Because I hit him up. I'm like, hey, Mike, you know, because he was my rep whenever I was retiring. Yep. He helped me through the entire process. And I'm looking at him because we all know he got blown up and lost his leg. And I'm like, damn. Like, how did you make it through that, Mike? Oh, yeah. Like, I'm just curious. And I know if I am, others are too. Yep. Right? So I have him coming on the show next just to tell his story.
I got to get him on mine too, man.
And then just to share. And while I was speaking with him, he said something very profound. He was like, hey, Jay, my fate got me through that.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, you really got to come on now, because not a lot of SF guys talk religion and how they use religion to get over certain things. So yeah, I thought that was neat. And there's a bunch of mics out there.
Right. Oh yeah. In our community. Yeah, dude, for sure.
So it's like it's time for us to show the world what war really looks like.
Oh yeah, the ugly side of it.
Yeah.
Not, you know, you see a little clip of this and a little clip of that, or you watch some movie. Yeah. But let them. Yeah, exactly, man.
So.
But it's crazy you mentioned faith, man, because I grew up, you know, a Southern Baptist down in South Georgia, and, you know, it was, our church was Free Will Baptist Church, and it was literally, well, I say 300 yards up the road, I grew up on Glenville Road, so it's all Glens. Right up the road, there's about big as, you know, this podcast room, everybody in the church knew everybody. But growing up as a Southern Baptist, you know, you learn those 10 commandments, you learn right from wrong, you try to do the right thing living and growing up. Which I didn't, you know, I kind of went astray, you know, I'm not a lost sheep or whatever. But one thing I will say, man, you know, and we had a guy on our team one time that was atheist. And like I tell guys, you know, I don't talk a lot of the religions, but hey, love that guy to death. But one day we got a firefight and I go, hey, I don't know who you pray to, but you better talk to somebody because it don't look like we getting out of here alive. And he started laughing right in the middle of a firefight, just like he did. He started laughing, right? And he goes, only you would say something like that in the middle of a firefight. I go, hey, dude,
we need him.
We need him right now. You need to talk to somebody. I don't care who it is. Shrek, you can talk to freaking Mickey Mouse. I don't care who you talk to, but talk to somebody. And he started laughing. But it's amazing how you say we get older SF guys, you know, we start picking up a lot more faith because we start seeing things that, you know, like I try to tell people some of the things you see, it's just like, is that even real? Like, how's that even real? Or how can the human body even go through that? Like Mikey, and then walk away from it. Or my little brother Dave, lose both legs, a testicle, left finger, and walk away from it. And now, you know, doing great things in life, you know, raising his family, being there for his kids and his wife. And it's like, man, we see this stuff. It's like, man, let's get these stories out there, man.
Yeah, because again, like, someone else is thinking about giving up. Someone else out there is going through the same stuff. And they're thinking about giving up. And then hearing that story has the possibility to change their entire path.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, dude, it's like we're almost selfish by not sharing.
Oh yeah, we are.
And it's like we do all these things and we're like, oh, I don't want to get in further. I'm not on social media. That's some SEAL stuff.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
I heard that one too.
I don't want. No, this is. I'm like, dude. Like, what are you, 5? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Like your story has the ability to change lives.
Exactly.
And we're all about changing lives and freeing the oppressed. And
that's it. Let's do it,
like, dude. Why not?
Practice what you preach.
If you want, I'll black out your face. I don't care. I just want to get the story out there.
Yeah, get the story out there.
Because this world needs it. Like there's, just, here alone, like as I drive to come see you, there's like homeless people everywhere, man.
And our suicide rate right now is freaking ridiculous, man.
Was it 22 a day?
22 a day, man.
It's ridiculous, man.
And
like
2 a day is too many. 1 a day is too many. But especially when, like you just said, guys feel like they got to give up. Mm-hmm. That's like I tell my guys all the time, man. I've been talking to my buddy Shrek a lot. Yeah. Robert Harrell. He just got his naming ceremony. He's Indian, which is pretty cool. But anyways, I'll talk to Shrek a lot, man. And just to, like, for your phone to ring at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, I know my buddies be like, hey, man, sorry to call you so late. I'm like, dude, what are you sorry for, bro? Yeah. I'm glad you called, man. Let's talk. Matter of fact, let's meet at Waffle House, get the grease cut, and then talk, over it. Let's break bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we definitely got to get these stories out here, share stories, and make sure, we can cut back. Like you say, one story might change that guy's whole outlook.
Yeah.
Like, damn, man, like I tell people all the time, I live check to check. I'm broke. I got bad credit. It's like, hey, I can't buy nothing on credit. So I told people, it's like, hey, you probably ain't got to know worse than I got. My body is broke. I wake up in the morning like, man, I'm hurting all over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, I know for a fact there's people going out there through the same thing, whether they're civilians, whether they're military or law enforcement or whatever, they going through the same thing I'm going through.
Yep.
An ex-wife, kids that know everything, kid in college. How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? It's like, man, what do I do? So we're all going through the same things. It's just, how do we cope with it? And how am I coping with it as opposed to how another person copes with it? You might can blend those two together and I'll say, you know what? This works for me now. You know what Johnny said, just like last night, dude, I was eating hot dogs. I said, you know what? I'm eating hot dogs. Which I was getting ready to go to the gym. I go, man, I'm eating hot dogs. But you know what? Like my dad would say, it makes you turd. I didn't go to bed hungry. I didn't go to bed hungry. It wasn't a steak, but I had hot dogs. Not like a good old-fashioned beef hot dog, So... at the end of the day, man, just telling people that. But I shot a deal the other day, bro. So I'm eating good. Hey, I'm eating good here in the next couple of days. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, and that's what it's all about, man. Just people, because we're just trying to make it, man, one day at a time, bro. One day at a time, man.
So So hopefully somebody sees this and it changes their perspective.
I think so, bro. I think so, man.
So.
Especially, young brother out there. Hey, you got 2 Green Berets right here that's done it. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking. We lived a life. We've had a great time.
Yeah.
We've had great careers. Now he's got his podcast. I'm doing my podcast. And we were Green Berets, man. I look back at it. We make up 0.0001% of the Army. Then you look at a black Green Beret, and that's 0.0000001% of the Army. And it's like, man, we did some great things.
Dude, I was, I want to say about 2 days ago, I was just sitting down and just reflecting on my career. I'm like, man, I've done some amazing things, and I'm still around to share it. A lot of our brothers didn't get that chance.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So I'm forever grateful. I'm grateful every day.
Oh, same here, man. I just said on the September 11th podcast that I was so grateful for the fallen, the guys that have made those ultimate sacrifices, and being able to, raise our kids now and be free because of that sacrifice. That's just, to me, man, that's one of the most amazing things out there, man. Is just serving your country, man.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Heck yeah.
Whenever I become president, mandatory, 2 years, everybody.
Hey, it's great. I just said the other day, dude, when I become president, first thing I'm gonna do is raise firefighters, law enforcement, teachers, military. I'm raising their pay, because I look at all these athletes that play sports, and none against athletes that play sports. And I'm not picking on anybody, but I'm gonna throw names out there people would know. People like LeBron James, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the Deion Sanders, which he's doing a great thing at that school right now. Which Deion, you see this? I'm definitely want to get on your show, and I want to come talk to your boys. But I look at all these celebrities, man, that make all this money, and I'm like, okay, one person cannot spend that much money.
No.
Because I live a pretty decent life, dude. And I think I'm living off probably about 10 grand a year. I'm barely making, I'm jogging places instead of driving my truck. I'm like, man, gas, $4 a gallon, But I look at all these people that make all this money. And I'm like, how do you not give back more. You know, and I'm not saying people aren't, so don't take it the wrong way. But I can't imagine, dude, if I had $100 million in my bank account.
Yeah.
You know how many schools I can outfit? You know how many kids I can pay for computers? You know how many uniforms I can buy, clothes I can buy, mouths I can feed, and still live comfortably.
Hey, you can't take it with you.
You can't take it. So when I see people out there, you know, like you say, driving in this morning, homeless and hungry, dude, that's the wrong answer, man.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen here.
It shouldn't happen here.
No way. Yeah.
But what drives me crazy, though, is I'll watch people, you know, you see a dog on the side of the road that's hurt. Dude, I watch people go drop hundreds of thousands of dollars on a dog because he had cancer.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, there's a human being right down the road right now that's starving.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying our priorities are wrong. It's your money. You do what you want to do with it. But I feel like human life is a lot more valuable than an animal's life.
I agree.
So let's start donate that stuff to humans. How do we get out there and just do more, dude? Like, I'm volunteering at shelters. I'm trying to help as much as I can. Plus, I get a free meal. So
no more hot dogs.
Hey, no more hot dogs. Johnny, you ain't do what you can do, man. You know, he's like, hey, y'all want me to serve, you know, beanies and weenies? I'll serve beanies and weenies. Say, hey, Johnny, have a plate. I'm gonna get me a plate. I'm gonna go sit down with the common folk. Have me some beanies and weenies. You know, so hey, I ain't about that. You know.
There's just so much more we can do, man. But again, we just got to understand that, you know, all lives are valuable. Do our part.
Just do our part, man.
Yeah. So.
And I want to send out this shout out to Garrett. You said do your part, Garrett Sinise. I don't know if they did it, but he's supposed to do he was doing a concert free for the veterans on the 9th.
Now he is the epitome. Like, everyone should model that dude because he's been doing it for as long as I can remember.
For years,
And he's always up there helping veterans.
And he's good friends with Luis Cantrell. So I got to meet him long time ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, man. And just the things he's doing. And then the other organizations out there too, man. Like, hey, I'm applauding everybody's doing what they're doing, but I'm saying for all the people out there that are individual millionaires that, you know, look, I got all my money and I'm going to keep it right here. I got my 4 different vacation homes and I don't know, man. Maybe I was just raised different, cut from different cloth. I just don't.
I agree. You got to give back, man. Because you can't take it with you.
No.
You know, so. And then if you leave it all to your kids, you're just going to raise bratty kids.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, my kids already know. Look at bro, they ain't getting enough nut. You know, they like, look at my daddy got my daddy left me a truck that need the maintenance light on. He need brake pads on it. You know, they gonna be like, you gotta be kidding me.
Which, if you're gonna leave it to your kids, just teach them how to give back.
That's it. How to give back. Yep.
Like if you give back, it'll always come back.
It'll always come back to you. That's a fact, brother. That's a fact. But anyways, hey man, I hate to wrap this thing up, but I know I got a ton of stuff to do today. Actually, I got to take a friend of mine to the VA to get some. Hopefully get some help at the VA.
Yeah.
But hey, I just want to thank Jay for coming on, you know, and if you guys haven't seen the Beret Chronicles, go check out what Jay's doing. Jay's doing some amazing stuff. And for all future military guys that are looking at this and girls that are thinking about joining the military, if you're looking at becoming a Green Beret or any type of special operations, whether you're SEAL, MARSOC, whoever, go to Jay's podcast, the Green Beret Chronicles. He has got some awesome information on there about training, how to get better, you know, whether it's mentally, physically, or emotional. And he's touching all those aspects you need to become better.
Yep.
And so, other than that, brother, you got anything else you want to say to everybody out there, man?
No, nothing, man. Like I said, I appreciate you having me. Again,
yes, sir.
Hopefully, someone out there gets something from this.
Yes, sir.
And if you have any questions, you need to reach me or Johnny. You can reach me through Green Beret Chronicles. And I'm sure JMFG, you could reach Johnny like that also.
Yep. JMFG podcast, you can reach me. I'm on there. You go. If you guys need anything, need somebody to talk to, I don't care who you are, what walk of life you are. If you just need somebody to talk to, call us, man. We're down to earth people. We're broke. I ain't gonna get no money, but I'll come pick you up. I'll feed you. And I just killed a deer, so definitely call me now before I eat it all.
Yeah.
But other than that, hey, brother, thank you for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it. And we'll look forward, man, to getting some more guys on, sharing some stories, bro.
Sounds good.
Hey, I appreciate you. Heck yeah, that's good stuff right there, man. Get in here. Jay, boy, you look good. Like, look at the arm. Hey, Lord. Look at Jay on back. Hey, he just got out 3 months ago. Give him a couple weeks.